My child, stop here and listen closely, because the pain you have been calling delay may be the very thing that has been protecting your destiny. You have spent too long grieving a clock I never gave you, carrying guilt for seasons I was still shaping, and calling yourself late when I was still holding every piece of your story in my hands. Stay with me until the end of this message, because what I am about to uncover will challenge the way you have judged your past, your waiting, and even yourself. Do not rush through these words, and do not let distraction steal this moment, because if you leave too soon, you may miss the truth that could finally break fear, regret, and false urgency off your life. Watch until the very end, my child, because what feels delayed to you may be the proof that I never lost you at all. My child, I want you to come closer and be honest with me about something you have carried in silence, because this part of your heart has been bruised more deeply than you have admitted. What wounded you was not only that certain doors stayed closed, it was what those closed doors seemed to say about you. You did not just experience delay as an event. You experienced it as a verdict. You looked at the silence after your prayers, the unanswered questions, the stalled opportunities, the relationships that never became what you hoped, and somewhere inside you began translating all of it into something personal. You started to feel as if heaven itself had stepped back from you. You wondered whether I had gone quiet because I was disappointed. You wondered whether the reason nothing moved was because you had somehow become the kind of person who no longer qualified for what you once believed. And because you did not always say those thoughts out loud, they became even heavier. They settled inside you like hidden stones. You kept wanting. You kept functioning. You kept showing up. But underneath your routines there was this private ache that kept asking, why does it feel like I am standing outside the very thing I have been praying for? I know how often you replayed the same questions. I know how many times you tried to be mature about it, spiritual about it, patient about it, while something in you was quietly breaking. You told yourself to trust me, but you were hurting. You told yourself to wait, but the waiting began to feel like being overlooked. You tried to stay hopeful, but hope can become exhausting when you do not understand why the answer seems to keep slipping beyond reach. So listen to me now, and let this truth enter the exact place where the pain formed. Delay was never my rejection of you. It only felt like rejection because your heart was reading absence where I was actually doing hidden work. You saw a locked door and assumed it meant no. I saw the timing, the terrain, the people involved, the condition of your soul, the invisible cost, the future weight of what you were asking for, and I said, not yet, because I love you too much to let this arrive in the wrong season. There is a difference, my child, between a denied prayer and a protected one. There is a difference between being abandoned and being preserved. There is a difference between me withholding something because I have withdrawn my love and me withholding something because I refuse to hand you a burden wrapped in the appearance of a blessing. I need you to let that sink in. Some of the things you begged me for would have broken your peace if I had placed them in your hands too early. Some of the people you cried over would have become a deeper wound if I had let them stay. Some of the opportunities you thought would save you would have drained you, distracted you, or tied your identity even tighter to outcomes instead of to me. You called it delay because that was all you could see. I called it mercy because I could see what would happen after the door opened. So do not keep accusing yourself of being the reason everything took longer. Do not keep assuming that silence means distance. Come back to me in this moment and let me reframe what hurt you. Stop staring at the closed door as if it was the whole story. Lift your eyes. Breathe. Let your shoulders soften. Ask me to show you what I was protecting, not only what I was postponing. That shift matters. That shift will begin to heal the part of you that has been living as though every delay was proof that you were somehow less loved than you hoped. And I want you to see how this pain quietly shaped the way you began relating to yourself, Once delay felt like rejection, you stopped experiencing your life as a journey and started experiencing it as a personal failure report. You became harsher with yourself. You analyzed every mistake with a sharper edge. You revisited old decisions and wondered if one wrong turn had ruined everything. You started attaching spiritual meaning to every closed door in the most punishing way possible. You thought, maybe I am too broken. Maybe I missed the right moment. Maybe I should have known better. Maybe if I had been stronger, wiser, more obedient, more healed, this would already be different. My child, I need you to stop speaking to yourself that way. I need you to release the habit of turning every delay into self-condemnation. I am not inviting you into denial. I am inviting you into truth. Yes, you have made mistakes. Yes, there were moments where fear, confusion, or immaturity influenced your choices. But your life is not hanging by the thread of your perfection. If that were true, none of you would ever reach the places I have prepared. My mercy is not a weak patch over human failure. My mercy is powerful enough to restore, route, and redeem what you thought was permanently damaged. You need to understand this in a living, breathing way, not as a phrase you have heard before. I can work with your detours. I can work with your hesitation. I can work with your tears, your doubts, your unfinished healing, and even your late return to me. What I cannot bless is the lie that tells you my silence automatically means my rejection. That lie keeps you tense. That lie keeps you suspicious of my heart. That lie makes you brace against disappointment before you have even heard my voice. And when you live that way, even love feels risky. Even hope feels dangerous. Even prayer feels like standing at a door you expect to remain shut. I do not want that to be how you live with me. I want you to come to me openly. I want you to pray without feeling like you have to earn the right to be heard. I want you to trust that if I delay something, it is not because I am cruel, and it is not because you are disposable. It is because I am seeing farther than you can see. So bring me the bitterness you built around delay. Do not hide it. Hand it to me. Bring me the resentment, the confusion, the disappointment you swallowed so deeply that it started to harden your spirit. Let me touch the place where you thought I let you down. Sit with me there. Let me show you how many times I stood between you and something that looked beautiful at first but carried hidden grief. Let me remind you how many times I closed a door that later proved itself unworthy of your trust. Let me teach you how to look back without shame and see my fingerprints where you once only saw frustration. This is not just about understanding your past. This is about healing the lens through which you see your present. If that lens stays wounded, you will misread even the good things when they come. You will keep waiting for them to disappear. You will keep assuming that any pause means punishment. You will keep flinching at silence as if silence always means loss. But I am healing that in you now. Stay with me. Let me do the work. Because the next season I am bringing you into cannot be lived well if you still believe delay equals rejection. If I open new doors for you while you are still interpreting every pause as personal abandonment, you will walk into blessings with fear wrapped around your heart. You will keep looking over your shoulder. You will keep waiting for things to collapse. You will keep assuming that if anything slows down, it means I have changed my mind. And I do not want you living under that kind of pressure. I want you to receive what comes with steadiness. I want you to know how to stand in the middle of uncertainty without immediately collapsing into old fear. I want you to become the kind of person who can feel a delay and still remain rooted, who can feel unanswered tension and still stay open, who can experience a pause and not instantly turn it into proof of rejection. That kind of peace is not shallow. It is sacred. It is hard-earned. It is formed when you allow me to reinterpret your story from the inside out. So right now, I want you to do something very simple but very important. Stop rehearsing the story that says, I was overlooked. Stop feeding the memory that says, I was denied because I was not enough. Stop returning to the old evidence only to reopen the wound. Come closer. Listen more carefully. Ask me to reveal the hidden mercy in the delays that scarred you. Ask me to show you where I was shielding your future while you thought I was ignoring your prayers. Invite me into the exact memories that still sting. Do not run from them. Do not bury them again. Let me stand with you in those moments and show you the difference between pain and punishment. Show me your disappointment honestly, and I will meet you there honestly. You do not need polished faith right now. You need real trust, and real trust is built when you let me touch the parts of you that still feel wounded by what did not happen when you wanted it to. So stay here with me, and hear this as personally as I can say it. I did not reject you. I did not turn away from you. I did not grow tired of your voice. I did not delay because you were less worthy. I delayed because I was protecting what your heart could not yet see. Some doors were closed because danger wore beautiful clothes. Some silences were sacred because noise would have misled you. Some losses became your rescue long before you understood them. Let that truth begin to breathe inside you. Let it replace the accusation. Let it soften the bitterness. Let it rebuild your trust, not in outcomes first, but in me. And once the trust becomes stronger, you will stop reading every pause as a sentence against your life. You will begin to see it for what it often was. My hand, steady and loving, refusing to let your pain choose your timing. My child, now that you see the truth, that delay was never rejection, listen closely, because this moment is not sluche. It is an invitation. What I am restoring in you, I also desire to release through you, so that others who feel forgotten can encounter my voice and be healed. When you give, you are not losing. You are sowing seeds into dry hearts, and I have said, those who sow in tears shall reap with psalms of joy, and I am speaking that over you now. This message you received was oil for your wounds, but through your generosity, it becomes a river that reaches souls still trapped in silence. I am stirring something in you, yes, you, because you have felt this word deeply, and now I am asking you to partner with me in spreading it. Give through super thanks. Stand with this mission through membership, or send your offering through PayPal. The link is waiting in the description below. Do not ignore this stirring. It is not pressure. It is purpose calling your name. As you release, I will multiply, protect, and return to you in ways you cannot measure. Act now, and let your giving become someone else's answered prayer. My child, come closer now, and let me speak into that part of you that still trembles when you remember those seasons where everything looked still on the outside. I know how those days felt to you. I know how long the silence stretched. I know how many times you looked at your life and wondered whether anything was moving at all. You prayed, you waited, you listened, and yet the landscape around you looked unchanged. The same questions stayed. The same burdens lingered. The same doors seemed shut. You woke up and saw no obvious breakthrough. You went to bed and felt no dramatic shift. And because nothing visible was changing, you began to believe that nothing meaningful was happening. That is where your heart started to ache in a deeper way, because you did not only feel delayed, you felt forgotten in stillness. You thought I had paused your life. You thought I had gone quiet because there was nothing left to say. But I want you to hear me with all the tenderness and authority of my heart. Some of the holiest work I have ever done in you happened in the exact season you were tempted to call empty. What looked motionless to you was not dead space to me. It was construction. It was deep, deliberate, hidden work. It was the kind of work that cannot be rushed, because if it is rushed, the very thing you are asking for becomes unstable the moment it arrives. You were looking for visible signs. I was working beneath the surface where roots are formed. You were asking for the flower. I was strengthening the soil. You were watching the door. I was rebuilding the one who would walk through it. And that matters more than you realize, because many of the things you begged me for required a version of you that could carry them without collapsing under their weight. I was not delaying because I was passive. I was not silent because I was absent. I was doing what love often does best when it sees farther than the one who is waiting. I was moving in hidden places. I was healing the part of you that kept tying worth to outcomes. I was loosening attachments that would have made you vulnerable to people who looked safe but were not. I was uncovering motives you had not yet seen in yourself. I was exposing the places where your hunger for relief was stronger than your readiness for stewardship. I was not punishing you. I was preparing you. There were things in you that needed gentleness, not acceleration. There were old wounds that would have poisoned your next season if I had let them stay buried. There were false identities clinging to your heart that had to break apart before real peace could take root. I know you wanted visible movement. I know you wanted something dramatic, something undeniable, something you could point to and say, "Now I know." But much of my work in a soul does not announce itself with noise. It arrives quietly. It unfolds in secret. It begins in the places no one applauds. It often looks like slowness until one day you realize you are no longer the same person who entered that season. So stop for a moment and reconsider the story you have been telling yourself about that stillness. Do not call it wasted. Do not call it dead. Do not call it proof that I had stepped away. Ask me instead what I was protecting, what I was removing, what I was strengthening, what I was untangling, what I was restoring in silence while you were waiting for speed. That question will heal more than you know. Because once you understand that hidden work is still holy work, you will stop despising the seasons that did not give you immediate evidence. You will begin to honor what I was building in the dark. And I need you to understand the depth of what I was doing there, because it was not small. I was not merely asking you to endure time. I was transforming the inner architecture of your life. I was touching the beams and bones of who you are, not the paint on the walls. There were parts of you that looked strong from a distance but were fragile under pressure. There were beliefs you held that sounded faithful on the surface but were secretly rooted in fear. There were patterns you called normal that were quietly draining your peace. I was not content to simply move you into the next chapter while those hidden fractures remained untouched. I loved you too much for that. So while you were watching the calendar, I was walking through the rooms of your heart. I was opening doors inside you that had been locked for years. I was touching memories you had learned to step around. I was allowing certain disappointments to remain long enough for the deeper truth to surface. I know you did not enjoy that process. I know it confused you. There were moments when you thought, why does this still hurt? Why am I still wrestling with this? Why am I not over this by now? But healing is not a light switch, and wholeness is not a performance. Sometimes what feels like regression is actually exposure. And exposure is often the beginning of real freedom. I was bringing hidden things into the light so they would stop ruling you from the shadows. I was letting certain patterns become uncomfortable so you would stop mistaking familiarity for safety. I was allowing your own emptiness to become impossible to ignore because you kept trying to fill it with things that looked useful but could not truly hold you. You called some of those days barren. I called them sacred. You called some of those moments lonely. I called them uncluttered. You thought I was taking too long. I was removing noise so you could hear me clearly again. And there is something else you need to hear, because it is part of the tenderness of what I was doing. I was also protecting your future from the version of you that was still reacting from pain. If I had handed you certain relationships before your heart was steadier, you would have accepted crumbs and called them love. If I had opened certain doors before your identity was rooted more deeply in me, you would have walked in hungry for validation and left more wounded than when you entered. If I had released certain answers before you learned how to sit with uncertainty, you would have turned blessings into idols and opportunities into emotional anchors. That is not because you were weak beyond repair. It is because you were human, and you were healing, and I knew exactly what needed to happen before what you wanted could truly become what you needed. So let me say this plainly. I was not doing nothing. I was doing the invisible work that makes visible blessings sustainable. I was not stalling your life. I was stabilizing it. I was not withholding out of cruelty. I was holding back what would have arrived beautifully but landed destructively. And I know this may stir grief in you because it means some of the things you fought hardest against were actually part of my mercy. Sit with that. Do not rush past it. Let it soften the bitterness. Let it reframe the silence. Let it teach you how to trust me more deeply than your eyes ever could. Now I want you to do something with this truth. I do not want you to only admire it as a comforting thought. I want you to receive it as a new way of walking. The next time your life feels quiet, do not instantly assume nothing is happening. Cause, ask me what I am shaping. The next time a door stays closed longer than you expected, do not immediately turn inward with accusation. Breathe. Invite me into your confusion. The next time you feel the old fear rising, the one that whispers that stillness means you are stuck or forgotten, stop and remember that some of the strongest seasons of your life were built in places that looked uneventful. You need that memory now. Carry it with you. Because what I am teaching you is not just how to survive waiting. I am teaching you how to recognize my fingerprints in hidden work that will change the way you live. It will change the way you pray. It will change the way you interpret the spaces between answers. I want you to stop demanding fireworks as proof of my presence. I want you to learn the quiet confidence that can sit in an unfinished room and still know I am building something beautiful. I want you to notice the small shifts. Notice how your reactions have changed. Notice how certain things no longer tempt you the same way. Notice how your discernment has sharpened. Notice how your hunger has deepened. Notice how you can now name wounds you once buried. Notice how your need for constant external reassurance has started to weaken. Those are not insignificant changes. Those are signs of real transformation. Those are the kinds of miracles that prepare a life to hold larger answers without breaking under them. So stop calling yourself stuck when I have been sanctifying your ground. Stop calling it empty when I have been filling the foundation. Stop despising the hidden season because it did not look dramatic enough to satisfy your fear. Lift your eyes. Let your heart steady. Open your hands. I am not late in the places that matter most. I am not slow where true formation is concerned. And I am not careless with your future. The version of you I am shaping in silence will be able to stand in rooms that would have crushed the earlier version of you. The peace I am building in secret will outlast the applause you once thought you needed. The clarity I am growing inside you will keep you from confusing movement with meaning. So trust this, my child. The stillness was not the absence of my work. It was often the deepest evidence of it. I was there. I am still here. And what I was building while you thought nothing was happening is going to matter more than almost anything you once begged me to change quickly. My child, just as I was working in hidden places within you, I am also working through unseen acts of obedience that carry my word farther than your eyes can see. What feels small in your hands becomes a harvest in mine, for I have declared, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain, and I am ready to do it again. This message is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to move through you like living water into the lives of others who still believe nothing is happening. When you give, you are fueling light in dark places. You are placing bread in the wilderness. You are helping my voice reach the weary. I am calling you personally, yes, you, to respond not out of obligation, but out of alignment with what I am doing right now. Support through super thanks. Join through membership, or sow through PayPal in the description. And watch how I take what is hidden and make it fruitful. Do not delay this obedience, for even this moment is part of my divine timing. Step forward now, and let your seed become part of a miracle you may never fully see. But I will. My child, I want you to stay with me here because this next truth reaches into the very center of what has been wearing you down. There is a difference between your urgency and my timing, and until you feel that difference in your spirit instead of only understanding it with your mind, you will keep exhausting yourself trying to force peace out of pressure. You have often mistaken urgency for wisdom because it felt intense, immediate, and emotionally convincing. When your heart was afraid, when your future felt uncertain, when you looked around and saw time moving, you felt a rush inside that seemed important. It felt like something you had to obey. It told you to decide faster, fix faster, move faster, recover faster, become stronger right now, make the right choice before the moment vanished. That urgency was loud. It was sharp. It had a kind of electricity to it. It made your chest tighten and your thoughts race. It made you feel like if you did not act immediately, something precious would slip away forever. And because it was so intense, you sometimes assumed it must be me. You sometimes thought that the strongest feeling in the room was the truest one. But I need you to understand this with great clarity. Urgency born from fear is not the same as timing born from wisdom. One is frantic. The other is full. One shoves. The other leads. One narrows your vision until all you can see is what might be lost. The other steadies your heart so you can recognize what is real. You have spent too many seasons responding to inner alarms that were not my voice. You felt pressure and called it purpose. You felt panic and called it discernment. You felt emotional heat and assumed it meant immediate action. Yet so many times, what was actually happening was that your wounds were reacting to uncertainty. Your fear of missing out, being left behind, becoming forgotten, or failing to secure the future was creating a sense of emergency that I never sent. I was not the one rushing you into decisions from a place of emotional desperation. I was not the one telling you that your worth depended on how quickly you move. I was not the one making your spirit tremble with the belief that everything could collapse if you did not act now. That voice may have felt urgent, but it was not holy. My timing carries clarity, not chaos. My leading can be strong, but it does not make you spiritually claustrophobic. When I move you, there is weight to it, but there is also peace underneath it. Even when the path is difficult, my timing does not leave you feeling like you are being hunted by your own life. It does not drive you into compulsive striving. It does not make you worship speed. My timing has room to breathe. It has room for truth. It has room for your humanity. It does not ask you to betray your soul in order to reach a destination. And I know that is hard for you to accept sometimes, because you have lived so long with the belief that intensity equals importance. But some of the loudest forces in your life have not been holy at all. Some have simply been fear wearing a convincing mask. So pause now. Slow down your thoughts. Do not rush through this. Ask yourself honestly how many times you moved because you were terrified, not because you were truly led. Ask yourself how many times you mistook your internal storm for my command. That question is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you. Because once you learn to tell the difference, your whole inner world begins to change. You stop reacting to every emotional spike. You stop making altars out of adrenaline. You stop calling every sense of pressure a sign from heaven. You begin to recognize that my voice can be firm without being frantic. My leading can be clear without making you collapse inside. My timing can be urgent in truth without becoming cruel in tone. A distinction will protect you more than you know. And I want you to see how this confusion has shaped the way you have been carrying your future. When urgency ruled you, you became easier to manipulate, easier to overwhelm, easier to mislead. Not only by people, but by your own fears. You found yourself standing at crossroads not with steady discernment, but with a racing mind and a tightening chest, trying to choose something, anything, that would relieve the pressure. You wanted certainty so badly that you were tempted to call the first open door confirmation. You wanted movement so badly that stillness started to feel dangerous. You wanted relief so badly that you sometimes considered options that would have given you quick comfort but long regret. My child, I protected you more times than you know in those moments. I slowed things down when you wanted speed. I let plans unravel when you wanted them locked in. I allowed discomfort to remain when you begged me to remove it, because I knew that what you were trying to solve in panic would not bless you if it came from panic. There were times you thought I was delaying your answer, but I was actually rescuing you from a choice made under pressure. There were moments you felt I was being silent, but I was waiting for your soul to become calm enough to hear what was true. I know how hard that was. I know you wanted me to just make it obvious, to remove the tension, to open the door wide and flood the room with unmistakable light. But sometimes the deeper work was not in making the answer obvious. It was in teaching you how to stop being governed by urgency. Because if you never learn that, even when the right answer comes, you will still receive it with a frightened heart. You will still make your decisions from a place of internal emergency. You will still confuse the sensation of speed with the substance of wisdom. I want more for you than that. I want you to become the kind of person who can feel urgency rise and not immediately bow to it. I want you to be able to stop, breathe, wait, pray, listen, and let your inner waters settle before you move. That is not passivity. That is power under peace. That is maturity. That is spiritual steadiness. So hear me and obey this gently but seriously. When you feel rushed, do not move too quickly just to escape the discomfort. When you feel fear telling you that this is your only chance, do not instantly believe it. When your mind starts building a mountain out of uncertainty, come back to me before you commit yourself to the first thing that promises relief. Sit down. Be still. Let the emotional fog clear. Invite me into the exact place where the panic rises. Ask me to separate fear from truth. Ask me to show you whether what you feel is urgency or merely anxiety in sacred clothing. And if the answer does not come immediately, do not interpret that as abandonment. Sometimes my first act of mercy is to keep you still until your soul is no longer negotiating from fear. You need that. You need to stop worshiping quick answers. You need to stop assuming that faster always means better. Some of the greatest mistakes in your life were not born from rebellion. They were born from hurry. And some of the deepest peace you will ever know will come when you finally learn that slowness with me is safer than speed without me. And now let me call you into a new way of living, because this truth is not only for reflection, it is for practice. From this moment forward, I want you to become suspicious of anything that demands your soul at the cost of your peace. I want you to stop giving spiritual authority to pressure simply because it feels intense. I want you to learn my rhythm. Learn it. Study it. Live in it. My rhythm may challenge you, but it will not torment you. My timing may stretch you, but it will not humiliate you. My leading may call you forward, but it will not make you betray your deepest sense of truth just to avoid discomfort. So when you feel that old familiar urgency start rising again, do not let it take the wheel. Notice it. Name it. Bring it to me. Say, Lord, show me what is fear and what is truly you. And then wait long enough to hear. Do not treat waiting as weakness. Do not call discernment indecision just because it is not fast. Do not let the world's obsession with speed become the ruler of your soul. The world loves hurry because hurry keeps hearts shallow. Hurry keeps people reactive. Hurry keeps them consuming, chasing, proving, and performing. But I am calling you into something deeper than speed. I am calling you into alignment. I am calling you into a kind of timing that is rooted in truth, not adrenaline. And when you begin to live that way, you will notice something beautiful happening inside you. Your decisions will become cleaner. Your thoughts will become less crowded. Your yes will become more solid. Your no will become more peaceful. You will stop scrambling to secure your future because you will know that what I have for you does not require panic to obtain. You will stop acting like your life is a race against the clock and start walking like someone who is held. That changes everything. It changes how you love. It changes how you choose. It changes how you wait. It changes how you respond when a door does not open on demand. It changes how you pray when answers feel delayed. So receive this as both comfort and command. Do not let urgency rule what only my timing should guide. Refuse to let fear make decisions for you. Refuse to make permanent choices from temporary panic. Refuse to call emotional intensity confirmation without bringing it into the quiet where my truth can test it. Stay near me. Let me slow you down when needed. Let me restrain you when your wounds want to run. Let me calm the storm before you step onto the path. Because what I am building in you is not just patience. It is holy discernment. It is a deeper trust that no longer believes every loud voice deserves obedience. And once that takes root, you will stop mistaking inner turbulence for divine direction. You will begin to know, with growing confidence, the profound difference between the pressure of your urgency and the peace-filled authority of my timing. My child, now that you are learning to discern my timing from the noise of urgency, recognize this moment for what it truly is, my voice calling you into purposeful action. This is not fear-driven pressure. This is a divine opportunity to sow into something eternal, something that carries my peace to restless hearts. I have said, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and I am speaking that promise over your life even now. When you support this mission, you are not reacting. You are aligning with my rhythm, becoming a vessel through which my word flows. I am inviting you, personally, to take part in what I am building, to help extend this message beyond this moment into lives that are still searching. Use Super Thanks. Step into deeper partnership through membership, or give through PayPal. The link is waiting for you in the description. Do not let hesitation silence obedience. This is not the voice of panic, but the call of purpose. Move now, in peace, and watch how I honor your trust with provision, clarity, and favor. My child, come here and let me speak to the place in you that still carries quiet shame over how long everything has taken. I know this hath been one of the deepest wounds beneath the surface. It was not only that you waited. It was that after a while, You began to believe that the waiting said something humiliating about you. You started looking at your life and measuring it against what you imagined it should have been by now. You looked at how long it took you to heal, how long it took you to return, how long it took you to understand certain lessons, how long it took you to let go of certain people, how long it took you to become honest about what was broken, and you built a quiet sorrow around one painful conclusion. I am late. That thought did not always sound loud. Sometimes it was just a feeling. Sometimes it was a way you hesitated before hoping again. Sometimes it was the way you looked at other people's milestones and then turned inward with a dull ache. Sometimes it was the way you replayed old chapters and thought, if only I had listened sooner. If only I had trusted earlier. If only I had been wiser, stronger, less afraid. My child, I have watched that shame wrap around your heart like a slow-moving shadow, and I need to break that lie off you now. You were never late to me. Not in your confusion. Not in your collapse. Not in your wandering. Not in your slow return. Not in the years where you kept trying to understand what hurt you and why. Not in the seasons where you resisted me, then reached for me again with trembling hands. Not in the moments where you thought you had already wasted too much time to matter anymore. You may have felt delayed in your own eyes. You may have looked at yourself and seen detours, hesitation, and unfinished growth. But when I looked at you, I did not see someone arriving too late. I saw someone still being carried. I saw someone still being called. I saw someone still being formed, still being held, still being invited deeper into truth. You need to understand how different my gaze is from your self-judgment. You look at your life through sequence, comparison, and outcome. I look at your life through love, formation, and truth. You count years. I see layers. You count mistakes. I see wounds, survival, and the moments where your heart still turned toward me even after everything. You call it delay. I call it a journey through real pain, real fear, real learning, real unraveling, and real becoming. And I will not allow you to keep reducing that journey to the cruel label of late. That word has stolen too much peace from you. It has made you treat your own story like a source of embarrassment when I have been treating it like holy ground. You were not standing outside the door of my mercy because you took longer than you expected. My mercy was already there, waiting in the very place where you finally became honest enough to stop pretending. My love did not expire because your process was slower than your pride wanted it to be. My invitation did not vanish because your return was messy. I was never tapping my foot in disappointment, watching the clock, deciding whether you still deserved to be held. I was there in the entire process. I was there when you ran. I was there when you froze. I was there when you resisted. I was there when you broke. I was there when you came back with tears in your eyes and no polished words left. And if you could see your life the way I see it, you would understand that some of the moments you are most ashamed of are the very moments where I was nearest to you. So stop punishing yourself for taking time. Stop speaking about your becoming as if it were a moral failure. Stop treating your healing like an overdue assignment. Come closer. Let me retrain the way you see yourself. Let me show you that the path has not been neat, but it has been deeply seen. Let me show you that the places where you thought you lost time were often the places where truth finally reached you. Let me show you that even your delay has not been outside my reach. And I want you to understand why this matters so much, because shame about time does something dangerous to the soul. It makes you approach your present as if you are already behind before you even begin. It makes you carry urgency that is not holy. It makes you treat every opportunity like a last chance. It makes you panic around open doors because you think you have to make up for what you lost. It makes you spiritually overcorrect. You start trying to become in one season what should be formed with tenderness over time. You start making promises out of fear. You start moving too quickly, speaking too quickly, attaching too quickly, committing too quickly, because somewhere inside you believe you are late and must now compensate. My child, that is not wisdom. That is shame trying to run your future. And I am calling you out of it. I do not want you trying to make up for the past by abusing the present. I do not want you dragging regret into every new room and then calling the pressure maturity. I want you free. I want you steady. I want you to know what it feels like to enter a new season without needing it to erase your old pain. Because when you know you are not late to me, something inside you relaxes. You stop treating every next step like a rescue mission. You stop trying to force the future to prove that the past did not ruin you. You stop needing immediate visible success in order to feel that your life is back on track. That is freedom, my child. That is what I want for you. I want you to be able to walk into what I am opening without carrying the frantic energy of someone trying to outrun shame. I want you to receive what I bring with open hands, not with clenched fists. I want you to stop trying to reverse the clock and start trusting the one who stands outside it. Listen to me carefully now. You do not need to rush in order to be redeemed. You do not need to overperform in order to be restored. You do not need to become dazzling overnight in order for your life to be meaningful again. Your value has not been suspended because your timeline looks different than expected. Your calling has not expired because your process was slower than you wanted. Your future is not fragile because your healing took longer. The enemy would love for you to believe that you are running out of road, that the best is already behind you, that if you do not fix everything now, it is over. That lie creates panic. That panic creates poor decisions. That pressure keeps you living in reaction instead of in trust. Refuse it. Refuse it now. Do not let that lie sit in your heart any longer. When it whispers, "You are too late," answer it with truth. Tell it, "I am still in the hands of the one who restores." When it says, "You wasted too much," answer, "Nothing is beyond his reach." When it says you should already be farther, answer, "He is still forming me and he is not ashamed of my process." Speak that, not as empty language but as alignment. Let your inner world come back under truth. And if you feel grief rising because you realize how long you have lived under this shame, do not run from that grief. Let it come. Let it soften you. Let it become the doorway through which I heal what the lie has hardened. I am not here to scold you for believing it. I am here to free you from it. So now, my beloved child, I am asking something of you, and I want you to take this seriously because it will change the way you live from this point forward. Stop introducing yourself to your future through the lens of lateness. Stop carrying that identity. Put it down. Put it down now. Do not keep saying, even silently, "I am behind." Do not keep walking into new days with the posture of someone apologizing for existing on a different timeline. Stand up in your spirit. Lift your head. Breathe deeply. Let me speak over you instead. You are not late. You are alive. You are not disqualified. You are still being led. You are not ruined. You are still becoming. And yes, I know that line is simple, but let it land in the marrow of you. Because if you truly receive it, you will stop trying to force what can only flourish in trust. You will stop collapsing into despair every time something takes longer than expected. You will stop resenting your own process. You will stop comparing your private formation to other people's visible outcomes. You will stop standing at the edge of your own life like a guest who arrived after the door closed. The door is not closed to you, my child. I am the one holding it open. I have not stepped away from your story. I have not grown tired of your pace. I have not become embarrassed by your unfinished places. In fact, some of the most beautiful things I will do in your life are still ahead, not because you earned them through perfect timing, but because I am merciful, intentional, and faithful beyond your fear. So receive this as my command wrapped in compassion. Stop mourning yourself as if you have already missed your life. Come back into it. Step into today with me. Let me teach you how to honor your journey without worshiping your regret. Let me teach you how to move forward without dragging shame behind you like chains. Let me teach you how to trust that I am not asking you to recover lost years through frantic effort. I am asking you to walk with me now. This moment is enough. This breath is enough. This surrender is enough. And if you stay close to me here, you will begin to feel something precious return. A gentler view of yourself, a steadier relationship with time, a deeper peace about what has taken longer, and a quiet but powerful knowing that you were never late to the heart that has loved you all along. My child, you are not late, and neither is this moment I have placed before you. Just as I have restored your sense of time, I now invite you to invest in something eternal, something that reaches others who still believe they have missed their moment. Your giving becomes a seed in my kingdom, and I have declared, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and I am faithful to that word even now. This message carried healing to your heart, but through your obedience, it can become a lifeline to someone drowning in shame. I am calling you, yes, you, to step forward and participate in what I am doing, not tomorrow, but now. Give through super thanks, stand with this work through membership, or sow through PayPal. The link is in the description waiting for your step of faith. Do not let the old voice of delay hold you back from this act of purpose. As you give, I will redeem, multiply, and cover what concerns you. Act now, and let your obedience echo into eternity. My child, after everything I have spoken into your heart, after every layer I have gently uncovered, after every lie I have begun to loosen from your spirit, I want to bring you now to the place where all of this was always leading. I want to bring you to peace. Not the fragile kind of peace that depends on perfect timing, perfect outcomes, or perfect understanding. I am speaking of a deeper peace, a steadier peace, the kind that settles in you when you finally stop trying to carry what was never yours to hold. Because this is the truth that has been woven through every part of your journey. Even when you could not see it clearly, your time was never yours to master, and it was never mine to steal from you in cruelty. It was always part of something larger than your fear could comprehend. The seasons that confused you were not random. The delays that stretched you were not careless. The silences that unsettled you were not proof that I had stepped away. They were all held inside a wisdom that you could not fully measure while you were inside it. I know there were moments when you wanted answers so badly that you thought understanding alone would save you. You wanted me to explain every closed door, every pause, every detour, every ache, every ending, every long night where your heart whispered questions into the dark. But there comes a sacred point, my child, where peace no longer comes from having every explanation. It comes from trust. It comes from finally laying down the unbearable burden of trying to make your life make sense on your schedule. It comes from admitting that you have been gripping the wheel with trembling hands, trying to control outcomes, trying to predict what comes next, trying to secure yourself against disappointment, trying to outrun the pain of uncertainty, and realizing that all of that effort has only left you tired. So come here. Sit with me now in the quiet of this moment. Let your breathing slow. Let your inner world stop running for a little while. I am not asking you to become passive. I am not asking you to stop caring. I am not asking you to stop dreaming, stop playing, or stop hoping. I am asking you to stop carrying what was never assigned to you. There is a difference. You were never meant to hold time in your hands like a fragile thing that could shatter if you did not manage it perfectly. You were never meant to bear the crushing weight of making every moment count according to fierce standards. You were never meant to monitor your life like a constant emergency. That is why your soul has been so tired. That is why even your prayers have sometimes felt heavy. That is why your thoughts have so often turned into storms. You have been trying to hold what only I can hold well. You have been trying to manage what only looks manageable until it begins breaking your peace. And now I am calling you to release that burden fully. Stop gripping. Stop bracing. Stop bargaining with tomorrow. Stop trying to drag clarity out of places where only trust can carry you. Come back to the simplicity of being with me. Come back to the holy steadiness of letting me be God in the places where you have been trying to become your own savior. That may sound sharp, but hear the love inside it. Every time you treated your timeline like something you had to rescue, you were trying to do a job that would always crush you. Every time you believed your worth depended on how quickly things move it, you stepped into a role I never gave you. Every time you panicked over what had not happened yet, you were carrying an invisible mountain on your back. My child, mountains are heavy. Blocks can become cruel. Pressure can become a prison. But my yoke is lighter than that. My way is gentler than that. My presence is stronger than that. So stop standing under a weight I never asked you to lift. Let me carry what has been crushing you. Let me hold the pieces you keep trying to arrange with exhausted hands. Let me be the keeper of your seasons. Let me be the one who knows what is ripening, what is closing, what is opening, what is maturing, what is ending, and what is being born in hidden places. You do not need to know everything in order to be safe. You do not need to understand every delay in order to be loved. You do not need to solve your future in order to walk faithfully today. That is the doorway to peace. Step through it. And I want you to understand that this peace is not just emotional relief. It is spiritual realignment. It is the moment your soul comes back into proper order. It is when you stop asking time to tell you who you are and start letting my voice do that instead. It is when you stop measuring your life by milestones and start measuring it by presence, truth, surrender, and growth that is deeper than applause. It is when you realize that even in the places where you felt most uncertain, you were never outside my care. I need that to settle in you now, because you have spent too long assuming that uncertainty means danger. Sometimes uncertainty simply means you are being asked to trust at a deeper level than control can tolerate. And I know how uncomfortable that has been for you. I know you have often wanted certainty because certainty feels clean. It feels safer. It feels like protection. But some of the certainty you have craved was not peace at all. It was self-protection disguised as wisdom. It was your wounded heart asking for guarantees before it would dare to rest. My child, I understand that. I am not mocking it. I am not angry with you for it. I know why your heart learned to crave guarantees. I know the disappointments that trained you to fear surprise. I know the losses that made unpredictability feel dangerous. I know the seasons where you learned to scan the horizon because you were trying to survive. But now I am inviting you into something deeper than survival. I am inviting you into trust that is mature enough to live without guarantees and still remain rooted. That kind of trust does not happen by accident. It grows when you stop rehearsing every fear and start returning your heart to me on purpose. It grows when you catch yourself spiraling, and instead of following the spiral, you come sit with me. It grows when you feel the old urgency rise and you refuse to let it become your shepherd. It grows when you stop demanding that every question be answered before you take the next faithful step. That is how peace becomes rooted, not borrowed. So practice this, my child. Practice it with intention. When the future starts shouting, come back to the present and ask, what is mine to do today? When regret starts pulling you backward, return to me and ask, what are you teaching me now? When fear starts telling you that time is running out, stop and remember that the one who formed you is not panicking. When your mind starts trying to build entire worlds out of uncertainty, interrupt it. Breathe. Speak truth. Say, my life is not being held together by my ability to predict it. Say, my worth is not tied to speed. Say, God is not absent because I do not understand. Let those truths become anchors, not slogans. Anchors. Real things you return to until your inner world begins to change shape. Because I am not trying to give you a temporary emotional high. I am trying to build a deeper foundation. I am trying to create in you a peace that can stand in unfinished seasons without collapsing. A peace that can hold unanswered questions without becoming bitter. A peace that can keep walking even when the road bends and the next turn is hidden. That kind of peace is rare in this world, but it is possible in me. It is possible for you. And it begins when you finally stop trying to own what was never yours to hold. So now, my beloved child, I want to leave you with something more than comfort. I want to leave you with a charge. I want you to carry this into the days ahead, into the moments when old thoughts return, into the quiet hours when your heart is tempted to pick up the same burdens again. Listen carefully and take this into yourself. Do not go back to the old way. Do not return to living as if your life depends on your ability to control timing. Do not slip back into measuring yourself by what has or has not happened yet. Do not hand your peace back to clocks, comparisons, or old disappointments. Guard what I have spoken to you. Protect this tenderness. When the familiar pressure tries to return, recognize it quickly. Do not entertain it. When the old shame tries to whisper that you are late, answer it with truth and move forward anyway. When the memory of what you thought you missed starts trying to pull you into mourning again, place your hand over your heart and remind yourself that I am still writing. And when you are tempted to grab the future with both hands and force it into shape, stop. Open those hands instead. Offer them to me. Say, Lord, I trust you with what I cannot carry. Mean it. Then live like it. Trust is not a feeling you wait for. It is a way you walk. It is the daily choice to return your heart to me when it starts wandering into fear. It is the courage to remain soft when life is unfinished. It is the discipline of refusing to let panic become your prophet. And if you do that, something beautiful will happen in you. You will begin to notice that the storm inside is quieter than it used to be. You will notice that delays do not undo you the same way. You will notice that your identity starts feeling less negotiable. You will notice that you can love, hope, plan, and dream without turning those things into masters. You will notice that your soul has more room for joy, more room for presence, more room for gratitude, more room for me. That is what I want for you. Not a rushed life, not a perfectly explained life, a rooted life, a peaceful life, a life where your heart is no longer at war with time. So receive this final truth and let it settle deep. I waited, yes, but your time was never mine to take from you, and it was never yours to carry alone. It was always held in hands stronger than your fear, wiser than your urgency, and more loving than your imagination. Trust those hands now. Stay in them. Walk with me from here, and let peace, real peace, become the new language of your soul. My child, as you lay down the burden you were never meant to carry, I now place into your hands something sacred, a chance to partner with me in bringing this same peace to others. What you release in trust, I transform into provision, for I have spoken. Whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed. And I am declaring that over your life right now. This is not about obligation. It is about alignment with my heart, about becoming a channel through which my word flows like a river into thirsty souls. I am inviting you, personally, intentionally, to respond to this moment, to sow into what I am doing here. Through super thanks, through membership, or through PayPal in the description, you are planting seeds that will outlive you and reach beyond what you can imagine. Do not return to hesitation. Walk in trust, even here. As you give, I will guard your peace, expand your provision, and establish your steps. Now move, release what I am asking, and let your obedience become part of my unfolding work. Before you leave, do this with me, my child. Go down into the comments and write, "My time was never lost. God was always leading me." Do not let this be just a message you heard. Make it a declaration you plant with your own hands, because what you speak in faith can break the chains of fear, regret, and false urgency off your heart. If this word found you in the middle of your waiting, then claim it boldly and let heaven witness your surrender. Type it now as your sign that you are done grieving the clock and ready to trust my timing. And if this message touched the deepest part of you, write it like you mean it, because this is not the end of your story. It is the turning point. My child, before you try to understand where I am taking you, I want you to first release the burden of where you thought you should already be. You have measured your life by calendars, deadlines, missed opportunities, and moments you believe should have happened by now. But I have never measured you by the clock the way you have measured yourself. I have seen the seasons you thought were wasted, and I have seen what was quietly growing inside them. What you call delay, I was using to prepare you. What you call lost time, I was using to deepen you. And what you thought was evidence that you had fallen behind was sometimes simply evidence that I was leading you by a road you could not yet understand. So breathe, my child, and let me meet you in the middle of the life you are living, not the life you think you should have lived. My child, come and sit with me. Take a deep breath right now. Yes, right here in the middle of your daily mess. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? Do you feel that heavy weight sitting on your chest when you look at your life? That is not from me. Let us untangle that knot together. I see the fear of the future keeping you awake at night. I watch the intense pressure at your job pressing down on your shoulders like a heavy stone. I hear the unspoken tensions in your family that you try so hard to manage every single day. I know the quiet, aching feeling you have of being completely overlooked by the world. You look at your phone, you look at the clock, and you feel like you are running out of time. But I want to tell you a truth that will set you free today. Stop looking at your watch. Look at me. You live your life counting minutes and hours. You measure your success by the ticking of a clock. But I dwell completely outside the limits of human minutes. I am never rushed. I am never late. I want you to understand the difference between your human time and my divine time. You live in a world that rushes in a panic from one deadline to the next. But I operate in appointed moments. I have set a specific, perfect moment for your life. When you feel like you are falling behind, you are only measuring yourself against human calendars. Drop that heavy burden right now. I do not wear a watch, my child. I hold eternity in my hands. You are stressing over the delay of a single day, while I am building a strong future for you that will last forever. Trust my timing. Listen to me closely. My not yet is never a no to my promises. You pray, and when you do not see the answer by Friday, you think I have ignored you. I have not forgotten you. Sometimes, I simply say wait. Think of that quiet pause right before a massive storm breaks. The air is still, the world is quiet, but immense power is gathering just behind the clouds. That is exactly what your waiting period is like. It is the deep breath you take before you face your greatest challenge and step into your greatest blessing. Do not confuse my silence with my absence. When I tell you to wait, I am actively working behind the scenes to prepare you for the exact breakthrough you asked for. Prepare your heart. Embrace the beauty of the seasons I have planned for your life. You cannot force an apple tree to drop its fruit in the middle of the cold winter. So why do you try to force your breakthrough before you are truly ready? You hate the winter seasons of your life. You hate the waiting, the cold, the feeling that nothing is growing. But beneath the frozen, hard ground, your roots are digging deeper. Your character is taking root. I have ordained this specific season for you to learn, to rest, and to grow strong in the dark. Stop fighting the season you are in. Surrender to it. Let me do the quiet, invisible work in your heart. You will need those deep roots when the heavy winds of success finally blow. Recognize today that your birth and your breakthrough are both held tightly in my hands. I planned the exact moment you took your first breath, and I have already planned the exact moment your life will change for the better. I know you feel exhausted from trying to make things happen on your own. You push, you strive, you work until you are entirely empty. Stop striving right now. Rest in my grip. If I can hold the entire universe in place, do you not think I can hold your career, your family, and your fragile dreams? I am holding you. You are completely safe. I command the sun to rise every morning, and it never fails. Trust the hand that moves the stars to move your circumstances. You worry constantly about closed doors and missed opportunities. But I can open a door for you that no man can ever shut. I can change your entire reality in a single fraction of a second when your appointed time arrives. Give me your timeline. Hand over your calendar. Release your desperate grip on how you think your life should look. Walk with me today. Just take the very next step. I promise you, the destination I have prepared for you is far more beautiful than anything you could ever imagine. Now, breathe out your worry and breathe in my peace. My child, listen to the silence of this current season in your life. I know exactly how you feel when you wake up morning after morning and it seems like absolutely nothing has changed. You look at your bank account and it remains the same. You look at your relationships and the distance is still there. You look at your career, and you feel stuck in a place that does not value your true worth. You call out to me, and sometimes all you hear is silence. Do not run away from this silence. Lean into it. I am using this very quietness to strengthen the deepest parts of your soul. Think about the heavy, cold months of a long winter. The trees look completely dead to the naked eye. Their branches are totally bare. The ground is frozen solid, and the world feels empty. But beneath that hard soil, a massive amount of work is happening. The roots are pushing deeper into the dark earth, searching for hidden water. That is exactly what I am doing within you right now. Understand the absolute necessity of internal growth before I give you external success. You want the visible fruit right now. You want the promotion, the perfect relationship, the financial freedom, and the public victory. But if I give you a massive harvest before your roots are deep enough to hold the weight, the first strong wind of adversity will completely destroy you. I love you far too much to let your success destroy your soul. I am refining your character in the uncomfortable heat of these delayed expectations. I am watching how you handle the waiting. Do you still trust me when the sky is gray? Do you still speak to me when the answer is not arriving on your schedule? I am building a resilience inside you that no economic crash, no personal betrayal, and no sudden tragedy can ever tear down. Shed the heavy layers of your own self-reliance. You have spent your whole life trying to fix everything by yourself. You hustle. You work late into the night. You manipulate situations. And you try to control every single outcome. Stop exhausting yourself today. Lay down your heavy tools. Your intense need to control everything is actually hindering the beautiful work I want to do in your life. When you reach the absolute end of your own strength, that is exactly where my miraculous power begins. Find the hidden treasures that only grow in the shadows of this waiting room. There is a deep, unshakable peace that you can only discover when you have no other choice but to trust me completely. Prepare the soil of your heart for the massive harvest I have planned for you. You do this by remaining faithful in the small, unseen tasks of your everyday life. Show up to your current job with integrity, even if nobody praises you. Love your difficult family members with grace, even when they do not deserve it. Manage the little money you have with total wisdom. I am watching your faithfulness in the dark winter. Do not despise this cold season. I am killing off the unhealthy habits, the pride, and the toxic fears that have held you back for years. Let the frost do its necessary work. When the spring finally arrives, and I promise you, it is coming, you will bloom with a glory and a strength that will shock everyone around you. Trust my winter process. Bring your deepest desires to me right now, my precious one. I see the specific things you have been begging me for. I hear the passionate prayers you whisper into your pillow when the house is finally quiet. You want that specific door to open. You want that particular person to stay. You want that exact job opportunity to come through. But what happens when your desperate desires conflict with my perfect, eternal plan? I am asking you today to surrender the when and the how to my infinite wisdom. You can only see the very next step on your path, but I clearly see the entire map of your life from beginning to end. I see the hidden traps waiting for you just around the corner. I see the toxic environments that look beautiful on the outside but will drain the life out of your spirit. Acknowledge today that I see the dangerous pitfalls you cannot possibly perceive. Remember the time you cried bitterly because a door slammed shut in your face. You thought I was punishing you. You thought I was ignoring your faithful prayers. Look at me. I locked that door to save your life. I kept you out of that relationship because I knew it would break your heart into pieces. I kept you from getting that job because I knew the severe anxiety it would bring into your home. Stop staring at the closed doors with resentment. Start thanking me for the unseen protection I provide every single day. My redirection is always my divine protection. Feel the profound peace that washes over you when you finally say, "Thy will be done." Say it right now. Speak it out loud in the room you are sitting in. Let go of the heavy idols of control and your meticulously color-coded personal schedules. You carry your 5-year plan like a heavy brick in your backpack, terrified that if you miss a single milestone, your life will be ruined. Drop that heavy brick today. You do not have to manage the universe. You do not have to force the puzzle pieces of your life together. That is my job. Your only job is to stay close to me, to listen to my voice, and to take the next right step in total obedience. See the immense strength found in total dependence on my daily providence. I am not a vending machine where you put in a prayer and instantly pull out a customized blessing. I am your Father. I want a daily, walking relationship with you. If I gave you everything you wanted all at once, you would take your blessings and walk away from me. You would forget the giver because you are so obsessed with the gift. I withhold certain things so that you will keep coming back to my table. Keep your empty hands open to me. I promise that what I place into your hands will be far better, far richer, and far more perfectly timed than anything you are trying to grab for yourself. Pause right now and look at the pace of the world around you. Everything is screaming at you to move faster. You are bombarded with instant messages, overnight deliveries, and the constant pressure to achieve overnight success. You scroll through your phone and see people younger than you reaching milestones you are still desperately praying for. The jealousy and the panic rise up in your throat. Stop looking at them. Look back at me. I want to teach you the sacred art of patience. Understand clearly that true patience is a supernatural fruit of my spirit, not a stressful work of your human flesh. You cannot force yourself to be patient by clenching your teeth and holding your breath. You become patient by resting entirely in my capable arms. Learn to worship me fiercely while the promise is still completely invisible. Anybody can sing a loud song of praise when the bank account is full, the health is perfect, and the relationships are thriving. But the worship that moves all of heaven is the quiet, tear-stained song you sing when you are still sitting in the dark. Worship me in the empty room. Praise me for the healing before the medical report changes. Thank me for the provision before the check arrives in the mail. This kind of active waiting matures your fragile faith into an unshakable, solid foundation. Waiting is not a punishment, my child, it is a divine classroom. Practice the daily discipline of remaining totally steadfast when the world around you is spinning out of control. When the anxiety hits your chest, when your breathing gets shallow and your mind races to worst-case scenarios, command your soul to be still. Replace your frantic anxiety with the quiet confidence of my undeniable presence. I am standing right next to you in the grocery store line. I am sitting beside you in the daily traffic jam. I am with you in the silent office. Do not rush through this exact moment just to get to the next one. Find true joy in the middle of the journey, not just at the final destination. You tell yourself, I will finally be happy when I get married, or I will finally have peace when I pay off this massive debt. Do not tie your joy to a future event that has not happened yet. I am handing you the gift of today. Open it. Find the small, beautiful blessings I have sprinkled in your path this very morning. A warm cup of coffee. A text from a friend. The sun shining through your window. Build an altar of patience right in the middle of your living room and choose to be fully present with me today. Your waiting period is not wasted time. It is the exact place where you become who you are meant to be. Listen to my firm warning today, my beloved. I see the dangerous temptation rising in your mind. You are incredibly tired of waiting, and you are starting to look for shortcuts. You are thinking about sending the text you know you shouldn't send. You are considering taking the job offer that compromises your values just because it pays well right now. You are thinking about settling for a relationship that feels completely wrong in your spirit, simply because you are terrified of being alone for another year. Stop. Do not move. I am warning you about the severe dangers of birthing an Ishmael when I have clearly promised you an Isaac. Do not create a mess with your own hands and then ask me to bless it. When you force an outcome out of fear, you create a counterfeit blessing. A counterfeit blessing will always demand a price you cannot afford to pay. Rushing my divine process always leads to unnecessary, bitter sorrow. If you force open a door before I unlock it, you will have to fight every single day to keep it open. If you manipulate a person into loving you, you will live in constant anxiety that they will leave. I want to give you blessings that come with deep peace, not constant panic. Do not settle for the cheap imitation when I am currently preparing the authentic masterpiece for you. Understand the heavy weight of responsibility that comes with the massive blessing you seek. You pray for incredible influence, major wealth, and deep leadership. But premature promotion will lead to a devastating fall. If I place you on a high pedestal before your character is solid enough to hold you there, the public attention will crush your spirit. The money will ruin your family. The power will corrupt your pure heart. I am hiding you right now to protect you. I am keeping you in the background so you can build the emotional and spiritual muscles required to carry the heavy weight of the future I have designed for you. Rest deeply in the absolute knowledge that I am never late, nor am I ever early. Resist the crushing pressure of modern society to keep pace with everyone else. Your friends are buying houses, having children, and getting massive promotions. Celebrate their joy genuinely, but absolutely refuse to compare your unique timeline to theirs. Your story is not your story. I have written a completely custom path for your life that belongs to no one else on this earth. Take a deep breath and let the panic subside. You are exactly where you are supposed to be at this very second. Do not rush the master builder. I am constructing a cathedral in your life, not a temporary tent. My child, even as I teach you not to rush my divine process, I am simultaneously calling you to take immediate, bold action for my kingdom today. I am inviting you directly into my massive harvest, asking you to partner with my hands to feed the spiritually starving. Your financial seed is the very vehicle that carries this exact message of peace to another exhausted, hurried soul who desperately needs to hear my voice right now. As I have commanded in my word, cast your bread upon the waters, and in my perfect time, you will find it radically multiplied. This is a divine appointment, a sacred moment to plant your seed in fertile soil while the rest of the world panics and hoards. As you step forward to support this mission through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I will fiercely protect your finances and multiply your harvest beyond your wildest human calculations. Do not delay your obedience or second-guess my promptings. Step out in bold faith today, plant your seed right now, and watch me build a legacy of massive light through your faithful generosity. My child, do not close your ears to me now. Do not walk away from this sacred space. If you turn off my voice to return to the loud, frantic noise of the world, it deeply grieves my heart. It breaks my spirit to watch you settle for comfortable brokenness when I am actively handing you total wholeness. Stay with me. Listen closely. We are just beginning to untangle the deepest roots of your pain, and the vital key to your breakthrough is waiting in the very next breath. Do not abandon the altar when the fire is just beginning to fall. Look back at the long history of my family, my child. You are not the first person to sit in the waiting room of heaven. You are surrounded by a massive cloud of witnesses who walked this exact same lonely path. They felt the exact same fear, the exact same doubt, and the exact same frustrating delays that you feel today. I want you to remember Abraham. I gave him a massive promise of his son, and then I made him wait for decades. He grew old. His body weakened. The situation became completely impossible to the human eye. But he held on to my word, walking from the promise to the ultimate performance. I honored his patient faith, and I will honor yours. Look at your brother Joseph. I gave him a brilliant dream of leadership and massive influence. What happened next? He was thrown into a dark, literal pit by his own family. He was sold into cruel slavery. He was falsely accused and locked in a miserable dungeon for years. He woke up every morning in a literal prison, wondering if I had forgotten him. Just like you wonder when you go to the job you hate. But I was with Joseph in the dark. I was using the dungeon to prepare him for the throne of Egypt. I am using your current hardship to prepare you for your own specific palace. Think about Moses, wandering in the silent, burning wilderness for 40 long years. He thought his life was completely over. If of his mistakes, so will his destiny forever. I used those 40 years of quiet, repetitive, menial labor to mold a proud prince into the humblest leader on earth. Think of David, the young boy ignored by his own father, left out in the dirty pasture to smell like sheep. He was doing unnoticed, thankless work. But while he was playing his harp in the quiet pasture, I was preparing him to wear the heavy crown of a king. Remember the long-awaited arrival of my own son, the Messiah. The world waited in total darkness for thousands of years. Generations lived and died praying for the rescue. And then, in the absolute fullness of time, at the exact perfect second on the divine clock, he arrived. I have never failed my people, and I will absolutely not start failing with you. Let the stories of these ancestors inject raw courage into your veins today. They inherited the glorious promise through faith and stubborn patience. You are part of this powerful, resilient family. Stand up straight. Wipe your tired eyes. You belong to a lineage of overcomers who trusted me in the dark. Your promised victory is coming, just as surely as the sun will rise tomorrow. Wait on me. Look closely at the construction of your life right now. I know you feel like everything is just dirt, noise, and absolute chaos. You see a massive, messy construction zone when you look at your current circumstances. You wonder why your life does not look like a finished, polished house yet. Understand this completely. I am the master architect, and I am building a structure within you that can actually sustain the heavy weight of the glory I am about to give you. If you want to build a tiny, temporary shed, you can build it in a single afternoon. But if you want to build a massive skyscraper that touches the clouds and withstands the fiercest hurricanes, you must spend months, sometimes years, just digging a massive hole in the dirt. You are in the digging phase. I am excavating the weak dirt out of your character. I am ensuring that your foundation is deep enough for the extreme heights I have intended for you. Do not complain about the dirt. The depth of your current struggle is the exact measurement of the height of your future success. Align your daily path with the eternal purpose of my kingdom. Stop trying to build your own little empire. Your empire will crumble the moment a real storm hits. My kingdom stands forever. I am arranging incredibly intricate details behind the scenes of your life at this exact second. You think nothing is happening because your phone is not ringing and your inbox is empty. Listen to me. I am actively moving people, resources, and entire organizations around the globe just to position them perfectly for your next chapter. I am currently connecting you with people you are not yet ready to meet. If I introduced you to them today, your insecurity would ruin the relationship. So, I am working on you, and I am working on them, in completely different places, until the perfect moment arrives. Trust the blueprint of grace that far exceeds your loftiest imaginations. You have drawn up a tiny, safe plan for your life because you are afraid to fail. I have torn up your tiny plan. My blueprint for your family, your career, and your impact is so massive that it would terrify you if I showed it to you all at once. Step into the mess with me today. Pick up your tools and do the quiet, unglamorous work I have asked you to do. Love your family. Do your job with absolute excellence. Pay your bills with integrity. These small, daily actions are the steel beams I am using to build your future. I will not give you a fragile, overnight success that will collapse and crush you. I am building a legacy through you. Stand firm on the foundation I am pouring into your life today. Protect your spirit fiercely today from the dark poison of bitterness. I see the quiet resentment building up in your chest. I watch you scroll through your phone, looking at pictures of people who got the exact job, the exact house, or the exact relationship you have been crying out for. You feel a sharp pain in your stomach. You wonder why I blessed them and skipped over you. Let me speak directly to that pain right now. Do not let jealousy take root in your soul. Bitterness is a toxic acid that will completely destroy the container it is kept in. If you allow yourself to become bitter during this waiting period, you will poison the very blessing I am trying to bring to you. Keep your eyes locked firmly on me, rather than staring desperately at the ticking clock on your wall. Filter out the loud voices of those who mock your unanswered prayers. You have family members who whisper behind your back. You have coworkers who look at your faith with pity. They ask you, where is this God of yours? Why is your life still a struggle if you pray so much? Turn down the volume of their faithless voices. They cannot see what I am doing in the dark. They do not have the security clearance to view the files of your destiny. Do not argue with them. Do not try to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let my peace be your absolute defense. Discover the radical, life-changing power of daily gratitude in the middle of a total vacuum. It is easy to say thank you when your hands are full of money and your body is perfectly healthy. I am commanding you to say thank you right now, while your hands feel empty and your heart feels heavy. Wake up tomorrow morning and thank me for the breath in your lungs. Thank me for the roof over your head. Gratitude is the spiritual key that unlocks the heavy doors of your prison. It shifts your focus from what you lack to the abundance of my presence. Stay tightly tethered to my word as your only source of truth. When your feelings lie to you, when your anxiety screams that you are a failure, open my promises and read them out loud. Maintain your hope when the visible evidence is completely lacking. Your sight is severely limited, but my vision is perfect. Trust what I have spoken over what you can see. Turn off the noise right now. Shut down the screens, put away the distractions, and sit still. I want to teach you how to hear my voice when the external noise completely fades away. You live your entire life surrounded by a deafening roar. The news panics you, the social media algorithms agitate you, and the constant demands of other people drain you dry. You run to these noisy distractions because you are secretly terrified of the silence. You are afraid of what you might feel if you actually sit quietly in an empty room. Stop running. Sit down with me in the quiet. The profound intimacy you are desperately searching for is forged only when you have nothing left but my word. Understand today that I am the actual prize, far more than the promise itself. You treat me like a delivery driver. You only come to me to check on the status of your package. You asked, where is my money? Where is my healing? Where is my breakthrough? I want you to stop asking for my hands and start seeking my face. What if the package never comes exactly how you pictured it? Would you still sit with me? Discover the deep revelation of my true character during these quiet, seemingly empty years. I am a father who wants a relationship with his child, not a boss who just wants to review your performance. Learn the gentle, powerful language of my spirit through deep communion. I do not usually shout at you through thunderstorms or earthquakes. I speak in a still, small whisper. If your life is filled with screaming anxiety and frantic rushing, you will absolutely miss my voice. Slow down your breathing. Calm your racing thoughts. Look at the chair next to you. I am sitting right there. Knowing that my silence is not my absence will completely change the way you walk through the dark. When a teacher gives a difficult test, the teacher is always completely silent while the student takes the exam. You are taking a test of faith right now. I have not left the room. I am watching you with deep pride. Listen closely to the quiet whisper in your heart today. It is me, calling you deeper into my love. Give me your complete exhaustion right now. I see the heavy, bone-deep weariness that you drag out of bed every single morning. I know that simply surviving the day feels like climbing a massive mountain. Your legs are heavy. Your mind is foggy with stress. You feel like you cannot possibly take one more piece of bad news, one more unexpected bill, or one more emotional letdown. You are entirely, completely empty. Stop trying to find strength in your own limited reserves. You are running a car with absolutely no fuel, and you are destroying the engine. Lay your massive weariness down at my feet right now. Drop the heavy bags. I promise to completely renew your power like the eagles as you wait upon me. An eagle does not exhaust itself by wildly flapping its wings to gain altitude. It finds a powerful thermal wind and simply locks its wings, allowing the invisible wind to carry it upward. Stop frantically flapping your arms. Lock your faith onto my word and let the invisible power of my Holy Spirit carry you above this current storm. My grace is absolutely sufficient for every single day of this delay. I will not give you tomorrow's grace today. I will give you exactly what you need to survive and thrive for the next 24 hours. Stop borrowing terrible worries from a future that has not even happened yet. Let me carry you when your own legs can no longer stand. You think you have to be strong all the time. You put on a brave face for your family, your coworkers, and your friends. You cry quietly in your car so nobody will see you break down. I see you. You do not have to be strong for me. Fall into my arms. The supernatural endurance you need does not come from drinking more coffee or reading more self-help books. It comes entirely from my indwelling spirit living inside of your physical body. Drink deeply from the living water of my daily promises. When you feel like you are walking through a dry, scorching desert, I will be the cool, refreshing stream that keeps you alive. Breathe in my strength right now. Stand up. You are not finished yet. I have just promised to completely renew your exhausted strength, and now I ask you to become the very strength for another fainting soul. I am personally calling you to pour out your costly oils so that my glorious light can fiercely pierce the profound darkness of this weary world. Your financial support is the physical lifeline that reaches directly into the deep trenches, rescuing broken people who are utterly convinced I have forgotten their timeline. Hear my eternal promise spoken directly to you. Give, and it shall be wildly given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and aggressively running over into your lap. This is your urgent, divine appointment, because millions are desperately starving for this living water, and I have chosen you to help deliver it. When you sacrifice today through a super thanks, by becoming a member, or by using the PayPal link in the description, I promise to breathe fresh, supernatural abundance into your own household. Rise up in your newly restored power. Give generously right now, and become the miraculous answer to someone else's desperate midnight prayer. Are you tempted to stop listening? Are you feeling the heavy urge to run back to your toxic anxiety? It pierces my heart with profound sorrow when you turn your back on my living water just to drink again from the dry, empty wells of your worry. Do not disappoint the Father who is actively fighting for your freedom at this very second. Keep your eyes firmly locked on me. The exact blueprint for your rescue is unfolding right now, and if you leave, you will completely miss the specific answer you have been desperately crying out for. Stay right here. Look closely at how you measure your life, my child. You are currently using a broken ruler. The world has handed you a definition of success that is completely poisonous. Society tells you that you are only successful if you have a massive bank account, a prestigious job title, a flawless body, and the applause of strangers on the internet. You are killing yourself trying to meet these impossible, empty standards. Throw that broken ruler away right now. Let us redefine what true success actually means through my eternal eyes. In my kingdom, true success is simply absolute obedience to my current instructions. If I asked you to do a quiet, hidden job today, and you did it with a pure heart, you are wildly successful in my eyes. Understand the infinite value of a soul that is actively being conformed to the image of my Son. You are obsessing over your temporary resume, while I am entirely focused on your eternal character. Prioritize making a deep, eternal impact over achieving rapid, temporal speed. A meteor flashes across the sky incredibly fast, but it burns up and disappears into absolute nothingness. A star barely seems to move at all, but it provides steady, beautiful light for thousands of years. Stop trying to be a flashy meteor. Be a steady star. Measure your daily progress by your actual proximity to my heart, not by your proximity to a tax bracket. Discover the profound wealth that the brutal world can never give you and can never take away from you. If your success is built on money, an economic crash can steal your joy in a single afternoon. If your success is built on your looks, time and age will eventually rob you of your confidence. But if your success is built entirely on the unshakable rock of my love for you, absolutely nothing in hell or on earth can ever shake your peace. Be the faithful servant who occupies the space I have given you. Do not despise your small apartment, your ordinary job, or your messy family. Cultivate the ground you are currently standing on. Your true reward is not a gold watch at the end of a corporate career. Your ultimate reward is hearing me look you directly in the eyes and say, "Well done, my good and faithful friend." Now, go walk in true success today. Look closely at the hidden strategy behind your current waiting season. I know you feel incredibly frustrated when days turn into weeks, and weeks drag into lonely years without a clear answer. You think I am simply ignoring your urgent requests. You believe I have pushed your file to the very bottom of my desk. Let me correct that false thought right now. I am actively using this specific block of time to weed out the hidden motives of your heart. When you pray for a massive blessing, I look beneath the surface of your prayer. I search your soul to see why you really want it. Do you want that new position to honor me, or do you want it so you can finally prove your worth to the people who rejected you? Do you want financial increase to bless your family, or do you want it so you can stop depending on me? I am taking the time to burn away your pride, your deep insecurities, and your desperate need for human validation. I am ensuring that your heart is entirely pure before I hand you the keys to your future. Understand that I am making absolutely sure you are ready to handle the heavy influence I am going to give you. Power is a dangerous tool. If I give it to you while you still have massive, unhealed wounds, you will end up bleeding all over the very people you are supposed to lead. You will use your influence to feed your ego instead of serving my kingdom. I am holding you back right now because I love you. I am using this delay as a protective shield. I am orchestrating a brilliant, strategic positioning that requires a very specific window of time. You cannot see the full board, but I am actively moving pieces on a global scale just to benefit your local calling. The economy is shifting, companies are changing leadership, and people are moving across the country, all because I am setting up the exact perfect scenario for your breakthrough. If you move out of turn, you will completely miss the open window. Pass the daily test of your stewardship over the small things while you wait. I am closely watching how you handle what you currently have. You are begging me for a massive house, but you do not keep your small apartment clean. You are asking me for a multi-million-dollar business, but you are completely irresponsible with the small paycheck you earn today. Why would I give you a massive forest when you refuse to water a single houseplant? Manage your current resources with absolute excellence. Speak kindly to the few people I have placed in your life right now. Do your ordinary, boring job with extraordinary integrity. The wisdom of the master gardener knows exactly when to prune a tree. I am cutting away the dead branches in your life so you can produce sweeter, heavier fruit. Trust my sharp pruning shears. The pain of this current cut is producing the power of your future harvest. Open your eyes to the magnificent beauty of the unseen work I am doing inside of you. You are completely focused on the outside. You want your circumstances to change instantly. But I am intensely focused on your inside. I am completely transforming your core desires so they align perfectly with my perfect will. Look back at your life 5 years ago. Look at the toxic things you used to chase. Look at the unhealthy people you used to beg to stay in your life. I have changed your appetite. I have made you hungry for peace instead of drama. I have made you thirsty for truth instead of temporary pleasure. That massive internal shift is a total miracle, and it happened in the quiet dark of your waiting room. I am actively healing the deep, jagged wounds from your past that would absolutely sabotage your beautiful future. Give me permission to break the heavy generational chains that require time and intense prayer to snap. You are fighting battles that your parents and your grandparents failed to win. The dark cycles of poverty, addiction, divorce, and crippling anxiety have run through your family bloodline for decades. I chose you to be the one to finally break the cycle. That kind of massive demolition does not happen overnight. I am completely rewiring your mind. I am uprooting ancient fears from your DNA. While you are sleeping in your bed, feeling totally unproductive, there is a massive spiritual warfare being fought on your behalf in the unseen heavens. Recognize the unseen angels I have aggressively dispatched to clear your physical path. You cannot see them with your human eyes, but they are surrounding your home right now. They are pushing back the darkness that is trying to consume your mind. They are blocking the invisible attacks of the enemy. I am fighting for you in realms you cannot even comprehend. Stop judging your progress strictly by what you can see in the natural world. The greatest miracles are happening beneath the surface. I am giving you an internal peace that surpasses all human understanding. When the world looks at your difficult situation, they expect you to have a total mental breakdown. But instead, you have a quiet, steady calm. You have a quiet joy that makes absolutely no logical sense. That peace is the undeniable proof that my unseen work in your life is highly successful. Rest in that powerful peace today. Stand firm right now, even when the clock is loudly striking midnight. I know the exact panic you feel when your human timeline completely expires. You look at the unpaid bill, and the deadline is tomorrow. You look at your physical body, and the medical report says there is no hope left. You look at your age, and society screams that you are completely out of time to start over. You think I am too late. You think I fell asleep and missed your specific emergency. I tell you today, I specialize in working when all human hope is completely lost. I am the God of the absolutely impossible. When every single door is slammed shut, padlocked, and barricaded, that is exactly when I prefer to make my entrance. Watch me demonstrate my supreme power through your impossible timelines. If I always answered your prayers early, you would start trusting your own cleverness instead of my grace. You would think your own hard work saved you. I deliberately wait until your back is pressed hard against the raging waters of the Red Sea. I wait until the angry army of your past mistakes and your current debts is aggressively charging right at you. I wait until you have absolutely zero escape routes left. Why? So that when I split the deep waters in half and command you to walk through on dry ground, you will know without a doubt that it was my mighty hand that saved you. The glory belongs entirely to me. Understand the massive glory I receive when only I can be credited for your dramatic victory. When your situation is totally hopeless, your ultimate testimony becomes totally undeniable. Let your faith shine the absolute brightest in these darkest, most terrifying moments of the wait. Do not surrender to the panic in your chest. Do not let the heavy anxiety choke your praise. Speak my promises out loud right into the face of your impossible deadline. Tell your massive mountain how big your God is. Prepare yourself for the extreme suddenness of my supernatural moves. After a long, agonizing season of absolute stillness, I will suddenly flip the script of your life in a single day. One phone call, one meeting, one sudden shift in the atmosphere, and everything will change forever. Hold your ground. The midnight miracle is already on its way. Bring your heavy sorrow to me today, my precious child. I see the hot tears that run down your face when you are sitting alone in your parked car. I see you crying silently in the shower so your family will not hear your deep pain. You feel incredibly foolish for crying over the same broken dream, the same stubborn problem, and the same lonely feeling day after day. Stop hiding your tears from me. I have personally collected and bottled every single tear you have ever shed in your intense frustration. Not a single drop of your pain hath been wasted or ignored. I do not look at your tears as a sign of weakness. To me, your tears are powerful, liquid prayers. When your grief is so heavy that you cannot form human words, your tears speak directly to my heart. Feel the massive wave of compassion that flows straight from my heart to your weary, battered soul. I am not a distant, cold dictator sitting on a cloud, completely untouched by your human misery. I am intimately touched by the feeling of your infirmities. When your heart physically aches from rejection, my heart breaks for you. When you are betrayed by someone you deeply trusted, I feel the exact sting of that betrayal. I walk this earth. I was rejected, mocked, beaten, and abandoned by my closest friends. I know exactly what deep trauma feels like. Lean your heavy, exhausted head against my chest right now. Let me hold you while you cry. Watch the beautiful sanctification of your deep sorrow into a powerful testimony of massive triumph. I am not going to just bandage your wound. I am going to turn your specific pain into your specific purpose. I am using your current nightmare to develop a radical empathy inside of you for others. One day, very soon, you will meet someone walking through the exact same dark valley you are in right now. You will be able to look them in the eyes and say, I survived this dark place, and God will pull you through it too. I promise you today, with absolute certainty, that those who aggressively sow their seeds in bitter tears shall absolutely reap a massive harvest in uncontrollable joy. Your weeping has lasted for a long, dark night, but your brilliant morning is about to break. Just as I have carefully collected every bitter tear you have ever shed in the waiting room, I now invite you to sow those tears into a massive harvest of joy for others. I am directly asking you to partner with me to fund the urgent healing of broken, bleeding hearts across the nations. Your financial giving becomes the warm, comforting hand that actively wipes the weeping eyes of those who feel entirely abandoned in their own dark valleys. I decree over you right now, those who fiercely sow their seeds in tears shall absolutely reap a massive harvest with shouts of uncontrollable joy. Do not ignore this urgent, prophetic call, because I am actively mobilizing an army of compassion today, and your name is firmly written on the roster. As you support this vital mission through a super thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I will aggressively protect your borders and multiply your earthly resources tenfold. Turn your past pain into profound purpose today. Give boldly right now, and help me aggressively expand my eternal kingdom. Do not walk out of this room. We are in the middle of deep, necessary spiritual surgery. If you pull away from me now, it crushes my heart. because you are actively choosing to drag your heavy chains back into the dark instead of letting me completely break them. I am pleading with you as your loving Creator. Do not reject my hand when I am pulling you out of the pit. Hold tightly to my words. What I am about to tell you next will radically alter the entire trajectory of your destiny. Do not leave me now. Straighten your posture right now, my chosen one. You are begging me for a royal position. You want the massive promotion, the successful business, the beautiful family, and the heavy mantle of leadership. But I must ask you today, do you actually have the character to wear the heavy crown? I am requiring absolute humility from you as you sit in the quiet waiting room of heaven. The world tells you to aggressively self-promote, to hustle, to brag on social media, and to crush your competition. I command you to do the exact opposite. Lower yourself. Serve the people around you without expecting any applause. Wash the feet of those who cannot do anything for you. True royalty in my kingdom is always defined by radical, quiet service. Develop an unshakable integrity that remains completely intact when no one is watching you. Who are you when the doors are closed and your phone's screen is dark? How do you speak to customer service workers? How do you manage the small amount of money in your bank account? I am watching your private choices. If you will compromise your values for a small advantage today, you will absolutely destroy your entire legacy for a larger advantage tomorrow. The massive authority you seek is only born from being completely under my authority. If you cannot submit your daily schedule to me, you cannot command demons to flee in my name. Submit your pride, your lust, and your anger to me right now. Exercise the extreme self-control that firmly resists the intense urge to force a closed door open. When you see an opportunity that looks perfect but feels slightly wrong in your spirit, have the absolute courage to walk completely away. The wisdom you desperately need is gained entirely through the quiet observation of my guiding hand. Stop rushing. Stop striving. Have the bold courage to remain perfectly still when the panic world demands constant movement. I am actively forging the heart of a true king, a true queen, inside your chest. Do not complain about the heavy hammer of my discipline. The intense heat of this current forge is burning away your immaturity. Let the fire do its perfect work. You will emerge from this furnace shining like pure, unbendable gold. Look closely at the dangerous trap you are falling into today. I see you sitting on your couch, scrolling endlessly through your phone, staring at the pictures of people you went to school with years ago. You see them buying beautiful homes, taking expensive vacations, and smiling brightly with their growing families. You look at their perfectly filtered, curated lives, and suddenly, your own life feels completely inadequate and broken. You feel a heavy, sinking knot form tight in your stomach. You wonder why they are moving so fast and achieving so much, while you feel like you are still stuck firmly at the very same starting line. You sit at family gatherings and absolutely dread the awkward questions about your career progress or your relationship status. Stop torturing yourself with this toxic comparison right now. Put the screen down. Look directly at me. Why are you staring at your neighbor's timeline when it only completely blinds you to the beautiful, intentional path I have laid out for you? I have a completely custom, carefully designed path for your life. Your specific journey belongs to absolutely no one else on this earth. When you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, you violently rob yourself of the quiet joy I have given you today. You become bitter, exhausted, and deeply insecure for no real reason. Understand the extreme danger of envying a blessing you are not even prepared to carry yet. You look at a leader managing a massive company and you envy their large paycheck, but you do not see the crushing, agonizing anxiety that keeps them awake, staring at the dark ceiling at 3 in the morning. You envy their massive public platform, but you do not see the heavy target on their back and the constant, vicious criticism they must endure. I have not given you their massive blessing because you do not yet have the specific strength to carry their specific burden. I give you exactly what you can handle, exactly when you have the spiritual muscles to handle it. I am commanding you to practice a radical, difficult discipline today. Learn to genuinely celebrate the breakthroughs of others while you sit and wait in the dark for your own. When your coworker gets the major promotion you desperately prayed and worked for, smile and congratulate them sincerely. Do not let the ugly, green weed of jealousy take root in your pure heart. If you cannot clap loudly for someone else's harvest, you are not spiritually mature enough to handle your own massive harvest. Genuine celebration is a powerful, aggressive weapon against the dark poison of bitterness. Pick up that weapon and use it today. Know this absolute truth deep in your bones. My deep, unconditional love for you is never, ever measured by your earthly speed. I do not love you more when you achieve things quickly. I do not love you less when you take a long, painful time to learn a difficult lesson. You are not running a desperate, panic race against the people standing next to you. You are running a completely private race, and I have set the exact course specifically before your own feet. Do not envy a race you were never meant to run. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on the specific lane I have explicitly given you. Do not look to the left. Do not look to the right. Take a deep, slow breath. Focus entirely on the solid ground beneath your own feet, and simply take your next step with me. You are exactly right on time. Pause right now and think about the constant, exhausting pressure you feel to always be producing something tangible. You live in a chaotic culture that completely worships the hustle. The noisy world loudly tells you that your total worth is tied strictly to how much money you make, how many grueling hours you work, and how much you can show for your daily effort. Because of this toxic lie, you feel incredibly guilty whenever you sit still. You feel like an absolute failure when a day passes and you have not aggressively crossed 10 things off your massive to-do list. Let me break that heavy, false burden entirely off your tired shoulders today. I want to teach you the powerful, ancient secret of remaining deeply fruitful even in a completely silent, lonely season of waiting. You must learn the total, absolute dependence on my life-giving presence to sustain your soul. Think of a massive, ancient vineyard sitting quietly in the sun. A strong, healthy branch on a vine does not stress, panic, or frantically strain itself to produce a sweet grape. The branch does absolutely nothing but stay tightly connected to the main vine. It simply rests and drinks in the rich, deep sap that flows up from the hidden roots. The profound peace of simply being, rather than constantly doing, is exactly what I am calling you to experience today. Stop frantically trying to produce artificial fruit in your life just to prove to other people that you are valuable. If you manufacture your own success out of pure exhaustion and panic, that fruit will be completely sour and rotten. Find your core identity strictly in your deep relationship with me, not in your daily achievements or your bank balance. You are a human being, my precious child, not a human doing. I know it feels completely counterintuitive to rest quietly when everything and everyone around you is rushing in a panic. But the branch that waits patiently on the vine, simply soaking in the warm sun and drinking the cool water, ultimately produces the absolute sweetest fruit. Your frantic, rushed efforts to force a blessing only produce severe stress, total burnout, and shattered physical health. I am inviting you to completely stop your endless, painful striving. Take a deep breath right now. Drop your heavy tools in the dirt. I want you to feel the profound security of knowing you are eternally grafted directly into my massive love. Even if you do not achieve a single new thing today, I still love you completely and unconditionally. Do not measure your spiritual growth by how busy your daily calendar is. I am doing deep, invisible, miraculous work inside of your heart while you simply rest in my quiet presence. Just sit with me in the silent room. Read my words slowly. Let my promises wash over your tired, overworked mind like cool water. When the actual appointed time comes for you to produce visible fruit, you will not have to force it or fake it. The massive blessing will flow completely naturally out of the healthy, rested, peaceful soul I am cultivating inside of you right now. Abide deeply in me today. Stay tightly connected to my peace. Refuse to let the frantic panic of the modern world detach you from my steady, life-giving vine. Your true power comes entirely from your deep connection to me, not from your exhausting daily hustle. Rest deeply in that unshakable connection today. Listen closely to how you talk to me lately, my precious one. I hear your daily prayers, and I hear the intense, desperate frustration in your weary voice. Your prayer life has slowly and quietly turned into a frantic, repetitive list of angry demands. You come to me with your hands clenched tightly into fists, asking, when are you going to fix this terrible situation? When am I finally going to get out of this painful mess? Why is this taking so incredibly long? I am not angry with your honest frustration. I completely understand your heavy, daily pain. But I am inviting you today to entirely transform your prayer life from a one-way list of desperate demands into a beautiful, intimate, two-way dialogue. I want you to make a massive, intentional shift from constantly asking to quietly and patiently listening. Stop fighting my divine clock with your human impatience. Start asking me a completely different question today. Instead of loudly demanding, Lord, when will this suffering end? I want you to softly ask, Lord, what exactly are you trying to teach me in the middle of this specific moment? That single, profound shift in your mindset will completely unlock the heavy iron doors of your waiting season. I am always speaking to you, but your anxious, terrified demands are so loud that they entirely drown out my gentle, guiding answers. I want you to start discerning the highly subtle movements of my spirit in the most mundane, boring moments of your normal day. I am speaking to you directly while you wash the dirty dishes. I am guiding your thoughts while you sit in annoying, gridlocked afternoon traffic. I am comforting your aching heart while you fold your laundry in the quiet house. Discover the absolute, unmatched power of a quieted soul that can actually hear my heartbeat. You treat me like a magical vending machine. You put your quick, rushed prayer in, and you become furious when your specific answer does not drop down immediately into your hands. I am not a cold machine. I am your loving Father. I want to sit comfortably at the table with you and just talk. I want to give you highly specific instructions for your current day, rather than vague guarantees about your distant, unknown future. If I showed you the entire massive picture of the next 10 years, you would be completely overwhelmed and terrified to take a single step. So I give you exactly enough light to see the very next step in front of your feet. Stop constantly arguing with me about the timeline of your life. The massive spiritual growth you are desperately begging for only occurs when you completely surrender your personal schedule to my ultimate, perfect wisdom. Close your mouth for just 5 minutes today. Sit in a quiet chair, take a deep breath, and say out loud, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Give me the silent, open space to actually answer you. Do not rush away from my presence just because the silence feels slightly uncomfortable and awkward at first. The deep, soul-satisfying intimacy you are craving is found entirely in the quiet, hidden spaces. When you finally stop talking, stop planning, and stop aggressively demanding, you will clearly hear my voice whispering the exact comfort and exact direction you urgently need for today. Listen closely to me. Look seriously at the heavy responsibility you are aggressively asking me to place on your fragile shoulders. You are crying out for a massive public platform. You fiercely want the big promotion at work, the huge, successful business, the widespread public influence, and the loud applause of the crowds. You currently feel entirely ignored and completely overlooked in your small, quiet position. Let me speak a hard but deeply loving truth directly to you today. I will absolutely not give you what you cannot manage with absolute grace. I refuse to elevate you publicly until I have entirely purified you privately. The hidden preparation of the platform you stand on is the absolute most critical phase of your entire life. If I build your grand stage before I build your internal character, the massive stage will completely collapse and crush your soul. I am aggressively ensuring that your private character is far stronger than your public calling. You look at the polished, wealthy, beautiful lives of famous leaders, but you do not see the massive, devastating moral failures that happen when a person's raw talent takes them to a high place where their character cannot keep them. I am deliberately protecting you from a devastating public fall. I am taking the necessary, painful time to thoroughly clean the inside of your dirty vessel so the precious, powerful oil of my spirit can flow through you purely. I will not allow it to be contaminated by your hidden pride, your secret lust, or your toxic, unhealed anger. The deep cleaning process is highly uncomfortable. It hurts physically when I scrub away your selfish, worldly motives. But a dirty vessel will completely ruin the pure, life-giving water I want to pour into the thirsty world through your life. Do not ever despise these quiet, completely hidden years. You view them as a massive, frustrating waste of time, but they are absolutely the most important, foundational years of your entire existence. Right now, in the dark shadows, where absolutely nobody is clapping for you and nobody knows your name, you are actively gathering the specific tools and the deep, profound wisdom you will urgently need for the next major stage of your life. You are learning how to lead a few difficult people well right now, so you do not completely destroy thousands of trusting people later. You are learning how to manage a small, tight budget faithfully today, so a massive financial fortune does not corrupt your soul tomorrow. I am currently perfecting the highly specific message I have written on the raw tablets of your heart. When you finally step onto the bright platform I have meticulously built for you, you will not speak empty, borrowed words to impress people. You will speak with the heavy, undeniable authority of someone who has walked through the blazing fire with me and survived. Stop trying to desperately kick open doors to a stage you are not fully ready to stand on. Humble yourself under my mighty, shaping hand. Do the boring, completely unnoticed work today with absolute excellence and integrity. When your character is completely ready, I will personally lift you up, and absolutely no force in hell will be able to pull you back down. While I am perfectly preparing you in the hidden shadows for your own massive platform, I am calling you to actively fund the platform that broadcasts my pure word to the globe. I am personally inviting you to become a solid pillar in my house, supporting the heavy, glorious weight of this divine, worldwide rescue mission. Your fierce generosity is the massive battering ram that breaks down the iron doors currently holding millions of precious souls captive in total spiritual darkness. I challenge you with my own word today. Bring your offerings into my storehouse, and I will violently tear open the windows of heaven to pour out a blessing you cannot even contain. This is not a casual request to consider tomorrow. This is a highly strategic, divine assignment meant for this exact second in human history. When you step up to give today through a super thanks, by joining as a channel member, or via the PayPal link in the description, I will unlock hidden, massive streams of wealth and profound favor in your own life. Step fully into your royal identity today, release your faithful seed immediately, and aggressively fund the eternal expansion of my kingdom. You are standing directly on the final threshold of your massive promise. To stop listening now, to pull your fragile heart away when you are mere inches from the finish line, deeply insults the divine preparation I have poured into your soul. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit by walking away from the final, massive revelation I have for you. Stay aggressively tethered to my voice. The absolute climax of your painful waiting season is finally here, and I need you fully, fiercely present to receive the total fullness of my glory. Listen to the end. Examine your confusing feelings right now, my child. I know exactly what you are deeply experiencing today. You are walking through a massive, scorching, terrifying spiritual desert. When you pray in your room, it feels like your desperate words hit a solid brass ceiling and bounce right back down to the cold floor. You wake up in the morning, and you feel absolutely nothing. The joy is completely gone. The warm emotional fire you once felt in your chest has burned all the way down to cold, gray ashes. You read my promises in the Word, and they just look like empty, dead letters on a dry page. You are terrified that I have permanently abandoned you to suffer alone. You are crying out, wondering what terrible sin you committed to make the heavens completely close up. Let me speak directly into your deep spiritual numbness today. I have not moved a single inch away from you. You must deeply understand the necessary reality of these brutal spiritual dry seasons and their ultimate, glorious purpose. I do not send the painful drought to punish you. I allow the severe drought to completely mature you. If you only follow me when you feel a massive, thrilling emotional high, then you are completely addicted to the temporary feeling, not devoted to me. I am currently weaning you off the easy, emotional milk. I am forcing you to chew and digest solid, tough spiritual food. I want a mature, unshakable faith inside you that functions purely on the solid memory of my past faithfulness, not on the constantly shifting, unpredictable sands of your daily emotions. Walk purely by faith today, and absolutely not by your fragile, changing, deceptive feelings. Look carefully at the brutal endurance of my servant Job. He completely lost his wealth, his beloved family, his physical health, and his stellar reputation in a matter of a few horrific days. He felt entirely abandoned and cursed by me. His closest friends mock him violently. His own wife told him to simply give up and die. But in the absolute darkest, driest, most agonizing moment of his entire life, he made a powerful, violent choice to trust me anyway. He declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." That is the exact kind of unshakable, violent, fierce faith I am forging deep inside of your spirit right now. The extreme reward of the stubbornly persistent believer is a heavy crown of massive glory that the emotionally fragile will never, ever receive. Listen to me closely. The massive, burning sun is still shining brilliantly, even when thick, dark, terrifying clouds completely block your view of it. Just because you cannot physically feel my warm presence today does not mean I am completely absent. Your human emotions are terrible, convincing liars. They constantly tell you that your situation is totally hopeless, that I am deeply angry with you, and that you will die forgotten in this dry desert. Command your lying emotions to submit directly to my eternal truth. My spoken word remains absolutely true even when your immediate environment aggressively suggests otherwise. When you feel completely empty and exhausted, simply stand up and do the exact next right thing. Keep walking. Keep serving the people around you. Keep aggressively trusting my promises. The heavy, refreshing rain is coming to end this brutal drought. Until the very first drop falls, keep planting your faith seeds in the dry dirt. I am standing with you in the dust. I want you to imagine the exact moment you finally step out of a long, pitch-black tunnel and feel the warm, bright sunlight completely cover your face. That is the exact exhilaration I have planned for you when your appointed time finally arrives. I know the tunnel you are in right now feels totally endless. You are dragging your feet, completely exhausted from the dark. But listen to my promise today. Your specific promise is going to manifest right before your eyes, and the joy will physically overwhelm you. You will look at the massive blessing in your hands, and you will suddenly completely forget the long, agonizing pain of the dark wait. The intense clarity that comes when you finally look back at your long journey will shock you. You will suddenly see every single invisible string I was pulling behind the scenes. You will suddenly understand why I had to say no to your rushed plans. You will fall to your knees in pure realization that my timing truly was absolutely perfect. When you finally meet the right person, when you finally step into the right job, or when your long-awaited healing finally arrives, you will say out loud, "Thank you, Lord, for not giving me what I asked for 5 years ago." You will look at the massive multiplication of the blessing because of the wait. If I had answered your desperate prayer a year ago, you would have received a very small, fragile blessing. But because I made you wait, the blessing has multiplied in the dark. You are not just getting a single drop of water, you are getting a massive, overflowing well that will water your entire family for generations. I multiply what I delay. I am commanding you right now to start giving me thanks for the specific delays that actively kept you from absolute disaster. You were deeply angry with me when that major deal fell through. You cried when that specific person walked out of your life. But when you reach the appointed time, you will clearly see that the deal was a hidden trap that would have bankrupted your family. You will clearly see that the person who left would have completely destroyed your mental health. Your tears of frustration will turn into massive tears of profound gratitude. Taste the incredible sweetness of the fruit that has been allowed to completely ripen in its own perfect time. If you force open a piece of fruit before it is ready, it is hard, bitter, and totally impossible to eat. You have been trying to bite into a bitter, unready season. Stop forcing it. When the appointed time arrives, the blessing will drop right into your open hand, completely sweet, soft, and ready to nourish your entire soul. You will not have to break your teeth trying to force it open. The joy of the appointed time will completely wash away the bitter taste of your current waiting room. Trust the long ripening process today. Your joy is completely secure in my powerful hands. You must look around you right now and realize that you are not walking through this dark valley completely alone. Your long, difficult wait is a massive, living witness to the very people who are quietly watching your every move. You think your silent struggle in your living room does not matter to anyone else. You are completely wrong. I am using your daily pain to teach the next generation exactly how to trust my ultimate sovereignty. Look closely at your children. Look at your younger siblings. Look at the younger coworkers in your office. They are watching how you handle your massive disappointment. They are watching how you act when your bank account is totally empty. When you choose to speak to me with respect and deep faith instead of bitter anger, you are handing them a powerful survival manual for their own future storms. I am actively using your specific life to leave a bright, blazing trail of solid faith for others to follow in their own absolute darkness. When a person is lost in a deep, terrifying forest, they desperately look for markings on the trees left by someone who successfully walked the path before them. Your faith is leaving those specific marks. Your stubborn, beautiful patience is carving a safe path for your children to walk on. The eternal rewards that follow a quiet life of patient obedience are far more massive than you can possibly comprehend. I do not just reward the famous preachers on massive stages. I loudly applaud the quiet, exhausted mother who faithfully prays over her children every single night. I reward the honest worker who refuses to compromise his deep integrity, even when he is passed over for a promotion. Understand how your personal story will deeply comfort and completely strengthen the broken-hearted people you have not even met yet. Your current, agonizing pain is not just for you. Your specific struggle is the exact textbook I am going to use to heal someone else tomorrow. When you finally reach your appointed victory, you will be able to look a terrified, broken person right in the eyes and say, "I know exactly how much this hurts, but God absolutely pulled me through it, and He will pull you through it too." You are actively becoming a powerful, living epistle of my daily grace and my perfect timing. People who will never read a Bible will read the pages of your resilient life. Do not drop your massive assignment today. You want to quit because the weight is incredibly heavy. I command you to hold your ground. I need your living testimony to be completely finished. I need your specific story of massive endurance to encourage the very people I am going to send to you next year. Stand up strong today. Wipe the heavy tears from your exhausted eyes. You are fighting a critical battle for your family's future legacy. Keep walking faithfully in the dark, because your absolute faithfulness is actively lighting the way for thousands of others. I want you to deeply feel the massive cessation of the daily struggle as you finally step straight into your promised land. You have been fighting, scraping, and aggressively clawing your way through life for entirely too long. Your hands are heavily calloused, your mind is totally exhausted, and your spirit is incredibly weary. But I am telling you today that a massive season of absolute rest is rapidly approaching your house. When you finally step directly into the promise I have prepared for you, you will instantly feel the heavy, suffocating weight completely lift off your bruised shoulders. You will breathe a deep, long sigh of massive relief. The intense war is finally ending. Feel the absolute, profound peace of knowing that you did not have to manipulate the final outcome with your own human hands. When you try to force a heavy door open yourself, you live in constant, sheer terror that the heavy door is going to violently slam shut on your fingers. But when I personally open the heavy door for you, you can casually walk through it with absolute confidence, knowing that no man and no demon can ever force it shut. I want you to actively rest in the completely finished work of my powerful hand in your entire life. Stop staring nervously at the walls of your new blessing, constantly checking to see if they are going to collapse. I built this massive house for you. The strong foundation is completely secure. Sit down in the comfortable chair and finally rest. You must take this specific time to completely refuel for the massive new responsibilities that absolutely come with the new blessing. You asked me for a major promotion, but that promotion comes with a massive workload. You asked me for a beautiful family, but that family will absolutely require your constant energy. If you enter your new season totally exhausted from the long waiting room, you will completely fail at your new assignment. I command you to rest today. Take a nap without feeling an ounce of toxic guilt. Turn your loud phone entirely off for a full day. Sit quietly in the warm sun. The Sabbath rest that I lovingly provide for my beloved children is not a weak suggestion. It is a vital, massive requirement for your total survival. I want you to learn to worship me loudly for exactly who I am, regardless of the changing season you are standing in. Whether you are actively fighting in the dark valley or quietly resting on the bright mountaintop, my supreme character never, ever changes. I am exactly the same loving Father in the terrifying storm as I am in the quiet sunshine. Rest your anxious mind today. Stop aggressively scanning the distant horizon for the next massive disaster. I am standing permanent guard over your life. Close your tired eyes. Release the heavy tension in your tight jaw. Unclench your hard fists. Step out of the loud battlefield and step completely into the quiet, beautiful garden of my eternal rest. Listen to my final, absolute truth today, my deeply beloved child. I want you to come to the profound, life-altering conclusion that my daily presence is the ultimate, massive fulfillment of your entire life. You have spent your whole life aggressively chasing temporary gifts. You chased money, hoping it would give you security. You chased relationships, hoping they would finally cure your deep loneliness. You chased career titles, hoping they would definitively prove your worth to the world. But every single time you caught those temporary things, you eventually realized that your deep soul was still incredibly empty and starving. I am telling you right now, I am the massive prize. I am the absolute, completely satisfying end of your exhausting search. If you have absolutely nothing else in this harsh world but my presence, you are incredibly, massively wealthy. I want you to rest deeply in the absolute truth that I am the total alpha and the complete omega of your unique story. I wrote the very first sentence of your life when you were born, and I will personally write the final, beautiful punctuation mark when you come home to me. I hold every single messy, confusing chapter in between. I promise you, with the absolute full backing of heaven, that I will never, ever leave you, nor will I ever actively forsake you in the middle of your dark wait. People will absolutely walk away from you when you have nothing left to offer them. But I'm absolutely not like people. I step closer to you when your hands are totally empty. I sit with you on the dirty floor when everyone else has left the room. I give you my absolute assurance today that all things are actively working together for your absolute, ultimate good. I did not say all things are good. Sickness is not good. Betrayal is not good. Poverty is not good. But I am the master chef who takes totally bitter, raw ingredients and miraculously mixes them together to bake a completely beautiful, sweet cake. I am actively using your worst, most painful days to build your greatest, most massive victories. Do not panic when you taste a bitter ingredient today. The final recipe is not finished yet. My specific timing for your life is a pure, undeniable reflection of my infinite, passionate love for you. I do not delay your blessings to torture you. I delay them to aggressively protect you, to completely mature you, and to perfectly position you for maximum, eternal impact. Trust my heart today, even when you cannot possibly trace my invisible hand. Let the heavy anxiety permanently drain out of your tired body right now. Go forth into your day in absolute, total peace. Walk with your head held extremely high. Stop looking anxiously at your ticking watch. Stop aggressively comparing yourself to your neighbors. You are my precious child, and your specific time is safely, eternally, and completely held in my powerful hands. Walk forward today. I am with you. As you finally rest in the unshakable truth that my presence is your ultimate fulfillment, I am calling you to aggressively release your earthly treasures to advance my eternal kingdom. I am extending my hand directly to you, asking you to sow your seed into the deeply fertile ground of this ministry so my urgent voice can reach the absolute ends of the earth. Your financial sacrifice is the roaring, unstoppable fire that illuminates the darkest corners of the world, guiding lost and starving souls safely back to my table. Hear my voice command you today. Do not lay up for yourselves fragile, temporary treasures on earth, but lay up massive, unbreakable treasures in heaven where absolutely nothing can ever destroy them. The clock of human history is ticking rapidly, and your immediate obedience to give is a powerful, divine weapon against the terrifying kingdom of darkness. As you honor me today with a super thanks, a membership, or a bold donation through the PayPal link in the description, I command a massive, supernatural multiplication over your home and your future generations. Do not walk away with a closed hand. Give generously right now and permanently seal your eternal legacy in my perfect timing. I am holding out my hand to you right now, asking you to finally surrender the heavy, broken clock of human rushing you have been desperately carrying. If you are truly ready to stop fighting the quiet winter and step into the absolute peace of my perfect timing, I need you to declare it right here, right now. Type these exact words below with fierce, unshakable faith. Lord, I surrender my timeline, and I completely trust your perfect time. The very second you type this, you are violently breaking the heavy chains of endless anxiety and stepping directly into the glorious light of my divine calendar. Make your bold declaration today, drop your heavy burdens forever, and let us walk into your beautiful, appointed season together. Amen.